And Lego is how I find peace during breaks. During my Pomodoro breaks, I find peace. Oh, here it comes. They're going to do this one here. And this will be on my half of the table. And it'll be a thing I come down to do breaks with. And it just further elucidates the differences that we love about each other.
Right. You realize if you bring that down here, you will not be able to let the dogs be down here unsupervised because all of those little pieces.
No, there's a trick. Couple things. First of all, we're going to get a bunch of little Tupperware, not really Tupperware, but fake Tupperware things.
Yeah.
And I sort the pieces into those. Welcome to She Said, She Said. I am Pam Pryor, CFO, author, host of Cash Flow Podcast, and co-host of She Said podcast, and I balance the books.
I'm Deb Reinhardt. I am a Chopra certified master life coach and meditator, and most of the time I balance Pam.
Most of the time. You say, but each week we're going to dive into the stuff that drives us in business and our home life, being together 33 years. We're just going to explore some of the subjects here and see if anybody can resonate.
And see what we can stir up.
Maybe a few lighthearted arguments. I say let's see what we can stir up today.
Okay.
And I know exactly what that is.
Yeah, go, roll.
Okay, so she said.
Yes.
We have half the room is you and your Chopra things. And half the room is me and my cool number left brain things. Mm-hmm. But we have not divided this table yet. Right? So there's this esoteric thing.
It is a lovely bowl that was made from a tree that died during Hurricane Sandy.
Props to Ron Perolo for his beautiful woodwork.
Beautiful woodwork.
And it's gorgeous. However, we're not really using it for anything. So I'm proposing we divide the table diagonally here, right? So diagonally. So that's your side. And on my side, hang on a sec. I'll show you what we're going to do. You ready?
Go, shoot.
Okay.
I dread. I'm not really digging this idea. I'm just sharing that with you right now. Holy Jesus. Mary, Mother of God.
We are going to build.
No.
Is this this isn't the White House?
No, that's like an entire.
This is one I've already done. But we have a White House. That's okay. We are going to get the right Lego set.
No.
And Lego is how I find peace during breaks. During my Pomodoro breaks, I find peace. Oh, here it comes. They're going to do this one here. And this will be on my half of the table. And it'll be a thing I come down to do breaks with. And it just further elucidates the differences that we love about each other.
Right. You realize if you bring that down here, you will not be able to let the dogs be down here unsupervised because all of those little pieces.
No, there's a trick. Couple things. First of all, we're going to get a bunch of little Tupperware, not really Tupperware, but fake Tupperware things. Yeah. And I sort the pieces into those. Awesome. Then you close them and there's no dogs getting things. And we'll be able to watch it grow from flat to big. Francis can do time-lapse stuff on it.
Great.
I can do time-lapse photographs from my perspective. He can do time-lapse from his, and we'll be able to watch it grow.
Awesome. And then what do you do with it?
Then we put it up for show, or we can leave it right there on the table.
No.
Or we can record like Murphy going through like King Kong.
There you go, crushing it.
Yes.
There's that as an option too. So that's what I think. But additionally, you just came back from a road trip.
I did. I spent 3 days in lovely Thousand Oaks, California.
How hot was it?
It was.
Even they were complaining about the heat.
Word. It was hot.
111.
It was 111 the first day. It was 114 the second day.
And that wasn't like feels like.
No, that was the heat.
Yeah.
That was
so
that
here,
was like
sometimes we'll get a 100. Feels like 100. Yeah. 95 feels 100.
Honest to God, I have never felt anything like it. Even when we were in Vegas in July.
Wow.
You walked out of the car and it was like walking into an oven. Into like, and there was like and occasionally a breeze, so like a convection oven.
Wow.
It was that hot, and everybody there was like, "Oh, and it's so humid." Like, you people know nothing about humidity out here.
Jeez.
No, it was not humid.
Wow. So you
but
mostly stayed inside.
unfortunately, yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't. I didn't get to spend a lot of time.
I don't know that I wanted
outdoors.
to in that temperature.
Yeah.
But so how was the house when you came home? So this is an interesting story because we talk about the fact that I batch cleaned. You weren't gone long enough for me to hit a batch, right? So a couple things piled up.
Yes. Yes. So we had
First thing you do was vacuum.
a vacuum.
The tumbleweeds, as we call them.
Major tumbleweeds. I emptied the vacuum twice, Pam. The vacuum has to be done. Like,
You know they're
every day.
picturing like 6-foot tumbleweeds rolling through our living room.
Dust bunnies.
Dust
if it
bunnies.
makes you
There
feel
we
better.
go.
But yeah, that had to be done.
Sink was empty.
The sink was empty. Yes, the sink was empty. The guest bedroom was completely unmade.
Stripped for you.
Yes, but nothing was started.
Oh, you mean like the laundry? Well, see, I didn't even look at that end of the house, quite
You know-
honestly, while you were gone.
Yeah, I know.
So I didn't know.
I know.
Yeah.
The cat, I went upstairs. The cat's food had been completely demolished by
Okay.
a dog.
No. Let's be clear on that. So
It was empty, Pam.
first of all,
He can't have empty food, Pam. He's supposed to be able to eat whenever he needs to
it was
eat.
not empty the whole time.
It was, how do you
And
know?
it wasn't completely empty.
I don't know that.
So
I buy
here's
this.
what happened. He had a full bowl when he started, probably the second day you were gone. I refilled, had a full bowl. Next day, it's down a little bit. Next day, it's down a little bit. Oh my gosh, I need food. The cat got no food. I looked in the closet, because Deb says food's in the closet, where all the cat stuff is. There's no food. I'm like, oh, good thing she's getting home. I don't know where the cat food is. It's got to be somewhere. She comes home. I said, where's the cat food? She goes, in the closet. I said, no, it's not. Ha, ha, ha. It's not in the closet. Go look. Show me. She wasn't talking about the cat closet. Because, of course, when you say the closet and you're talking about the cat, you mean
All
what?
right. I mean,
The
it's in
human
the
big
walk-in
closet.
Yes, yes. So here's the deal, Pam. There is no way that you could get bags of food, the size of the cat bag foods, into a tiny little closet that we use for his litter box. Who wants to put their food in with their where they're doing their business? You don't do that. And the fact that you didn't know where it was is pathetic. And two, it's not like you can't text me or call me or send a smoke signal, for crying out loud. I am in California. I am not like halfway across the world. You could have
Kind of
said,
halfway.
where's Gilbert's
It's all the way
food?
across the country.
Oh, come on up, baby boo.
And yes, you're right. I could have done that.
You
But
should have done
it was
that.
the day before you
Come
were
on up,
getting
baby
home.
boo.
He still had food.
You can do
and-
it, baby.
And then I do think I left the door open that last
did.
day. But
It was
last day,
open when I walked in.
it was just the
house.
last day, and he probably did just go ahead and Diego probably did go ahead,
Scarfed it
but there
all.
wasn't much left. It was totally crumbs at that point. To be fair,
His water bowl was a mess.
so I
Nope.
can't help. But anyway, so it was typical Pam.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing was, like, after she came home and she did like stuff for a couple hours, I could definitely tell the difference. Like, the house felt better, fresher, cleaner. But I didn't feel it getting to the point where it wasn't better, fresher, cleaner.
Yeah.
It's like I saw the contrast.
Because you're like living in your dirt.
Yeah.
You don't see it if you're living in it.
It is not dirt, except maybe in that one recliner chair.
Yes, it's a mess.
What can I say? But
yeah.
Anyway, to move on.
But anyway, I would say California's lovely. I mean, it really was so.
Except for the heat.
It's such a beautiful, beautiful area. Next time I go back, when I go back out, we went up the 405 and the 101. I think whatever.
They call them those.
They call all the roads are the
or
those.
those.
And they don't talk about distance in like X number of miles. Like, I can't tell you how many miles away from the airport that my hotel was. They talk about it all in time. Distance is equated to time
because
for them.
traffic's so bad.
Because traffic, yes.
Oh.
So he said, the driver said, the next time that I come out, if I come during the traffic time, he said, ask to go up the Pacific Coast Highway. He said, it's a beautiful drive. It's right along.
So
the
who cares if you're
coast.
stuck?
And you don't have as many cars. It's there. You can have
Traffic
can be cars,
jams.
but it's not traffic jam. It's not like a bazillion people trying to go.
Got it. Got it.
into places.
That would be fun.
But
I'll have to go with
I
you
will
next
say
time.
this, like Thousand Oaks, that like
Beautiful.
the valley, Simi Valley, mountains around it. It like everywhere I turned, I felt like there were like pretty mountains.
Oh.
You know, it was really lovely.
Is this near the redwoods and stuff, or is this way south? This is way south.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, that's awesome, because one of the things that I know is on our topics for today is corporate versus entrepreneurial work.
Yes.
And we've both made decisions multiple times around whether we want to work in corporate or whether we want to work as entrepreneurs. And I loved my corporate life. Like, absolutely loved it every single day of it, until the day I didn't.
Yeah.
And it was a particularly ridiculous situation that kind of pointed to, this is not for you anymore. It kind of took all the politics that ever were and like superimposed them on one cartoon and said, this is your life.
Yeah.
In one
day.
place. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, all done. And then I made that jump to entrepreneur. And I think the one thing that really jumped out at me when I first did this was, and you remember this, I'm like, I've had a great corporate career. You know, I really loved what I do. I always did well. I'm pretty smart.
Yeah.
I'm just going to roll right into this entrepreneur thing and
eat it up.
Eat it up, spit it out.
I'm not like everybody says it's going to take X number of
It's gonna
years to
take
be
5
successful,
years,
but
yep.
I'm not like everybody. I'm going to be able to do
Right.
this in no time flat.
I've been the exception everywhere. I'm going to
Yep.
be the exception here. In
Yep,
other words,
yep.
what we call that, ladies and gentlemen, is arrogance and
Completely.
ignorance, all tied up in a bundle. Arrogance and ignorance.
Self-confidence.
Self-confidence. There you go.
That's so much nicer.
I think self-confidence is when you have something to back it up with. Arrogance and ignorance is when you truly have no clue. Although in that particular
You just didn't know.
I didn't know I didn't have a clue.
You just didn't
So
know.
it's a big, big, big change. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I don't regret it. I never will. This is what I love. And the thing that struck me the most is, regardless of all the stuff you give up with corporate,
Yeah.
and you do give up a lot, and we'll talk about some of the stuff that we
Sure.
noticed pretty quickly, but the freedom was so overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to, and in this one particular case, sit at a desk to impress somebody
Yeah.
at a CFO level in a company anymore.
Yeah.
I can do things the way I need to do things and make a difference and be able to direct rather than have to comply with some, stupid, ridiculous politicking.
Yeah, you got to the point where I think the political environment and navigating egos.
Yeah. I will say,
challenging.
I always won when I went into a political battle.
Yeah.
But I hated it by the end. Like,
it was tiring.
yeah,
It was
it's
exhausting.
just like, this isn't how I want to be spending my
Yeah.
time. And that became kind of a thing drove me to leave. Now I get to work with entrepreneurs and help them understand things that will help them, and they've hired me for that reason. So it's, those politics aren't there, and I don't.
And you're
miss
deliberate
them.
about that. I think that's the one thing that I have really, really admired about you in this business, is that you've been really deliberate about just saying, look, I'm going to tell you the way it is.
Mhm.
This is who I am, and this is what the deal is. And if you don't want to hear it directly, then I might not be the person you want to be working with.
Yeah.
You won't put up with it, and
For their sake.
for their sake, and for your own.
But it's
for your
also not judgment. Like, it's not like, oh, you've got this kind of a mess on your hands and you're going to do it my way. It's not like that at all.
No.
It's, you got here because, like every other entrepreneur, you've been running 100 miles an hour and nobody taught you this stuff.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to make it so that all your finances work for you, but you got to let me do a few things, and I'll show you why it's important to you. And that's just so much more fun than the other thing. But you miss things like, the benefits, the payroll system's already set up, all the supplies are there and available. You have a regular salary, you have all these things.
Yeah.
But they just don't overweigh that, oh, okay, now I can really do what I want to do, how I want to do it.
How you want to do
thing.
it. And I think I think maybe that's the thing that stands out for me the most. It's not that you couldn't do what you wanted to do. I think you have a great amount of freedom to do it how you want to do it.
I think
And
you're right.
that's been the
sticker.
difference.
As I got older, it got to be stickier.
Sure. Yeah.
Kind of moving from that number 2 role into the number 1 role in my own business. And then Now you took a similar journey, but you retired from corporate
Yeah.
after 30.
Almost 33 years.
Yep.
Yep, 33 years.
And your thought process in making that move was like, it was a similar, it had gotten pretty interesting.
We've gone through,
A merger.
through a merger. There were a lot of changes going on, a lot of cultural changes.
Yeah.
And the challenge was just kind of watching people with whom I'd grown a business, and we spent time growing things together, seeing those people leaving. I think that was actually really, really hard because they just, and I stayed because I'm like, Mom, everybody calls me Mom, but I stayed for a long time to keep people
steady.
Steady.
It's a leadership role you play.
And then, it just was time.
Well,
it just felt like it was time.
Not for nothing and not intentionally, but you saw an opportunity for your role to be more efficient, split up.
Yeah.
And had the balls to say, hey, you know what?
Yeah, that was, and
this could be a win-win. I could be ready to retire, and
that was one of the things that was probably most unexpected, because I did go to my leadership and say,
I think it's time.
I think, there's been enough change and things are starting to settle out in different ways, and my role had changed multiple times. And I just felt like it, my opportunity was to figure out how to scale. Like I'd gotten to the point in my career that my goal is to develop folks and to do it at scale. And because of some of the changes, my ability to be at scale kept getting.
It didn't need to be. They were scaling down, not up.
They were scaling down, not up. So that was, it was hard for him,
time.
But it was time.
Yeah.
And it's been a really nice, in many regards, a really nice way to kind of decompress.
And I do like it. And the thing that I think is different about you and I is when I left corporate this time, there was no question I was not entertaining full-time work again. And who knows, that could change, but it certainly wasn't. Whereas people, of course, chased you down and have been ever since you left corporate because of your skill set in pharma. So, but it's never been something where you're like, oh, I'm never going back no matter what. No. It's an environment that you're really good in.
Yeah, I guess, and no, you're right. I didn't have any,
I'm never doing that again.
Not gonna go back.
Yeah.
You love the field. I needed a break. I needed a break just for my own self. It's been really a great time like that since my retirement. It's not that I've gone into hibernation and done nothing.
Started a business.
Got myself
completed
a couple
about 700 different certifications that we tried to keep track of on one episode. That I still can't keep track of.
So that's been really, really good. I always knew that if something came by, I kind of trusted that if the universe presented me with an opportunity, I would just be open.
Yeah.
And so I've tried to just stay open. So that meant not saying I'm never going to go back to corporate, or I'm, or even saying I have to go back.
Right.
It was simply saying
observing.
I'm just going to be aware of what's going on around me.
I love it because you love coaching too.
I do, and honestly, when you get to a certain level of leadership, the skills of a coach have huge value.
Oh my God, yes.
And having now been trained, I think even more so than what I could have
trained and certified,
but even more value than I think I might have been able to articulate, even as an executive prior to this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because coaching as a discipline is very different from managing or directing.
It's true.
It's a way of helping to elicit the best out of people. But it really requires this partnership between yourself and someone else, because what you're doing is you're inviting them to come into their fullness of being.
Got it.
And a lot of times in a leadership position, depending on where you are, you're shaping.
Yeah.
You're really doing a lot of shaping or molding.
Also with peers as you're trying to influence change.
Yeah. Oh my God, the
I mean-
coaching skills for being able to listen,
Yeah.
to be able to influence in ways that are increasingly sophisticated
Mhm.
and
And benefit everybody.
benefit everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's that.
huge.
Some of the skill set that you pick up by doing this coaching thing. I'm thinking this is something they should internalize to corporations, is to develop a fleet of really good coaches, because quite honestly, that's as meaningful to getting it to the way you ran an organization and your people just engaged like the dickens for you or for the team. It was never for you. You made sure that wasn't the case, but it was because they knew they had this ear that was more than just listening. Like, you are also helping draw them out in a different way, even before you took any of the coaching stuff. So to me, it would be high value to have in a leadership team as a key skill set.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to kind of seeing how that plays out.
Yeah. If there's a place in the world for it.
If there's a place.
I love it. So that's the last trip for a little while until you and I head to Austin the end of September for Scalable.
And then you're going somewhere in October.
And then October for Femfluence.
Yes.
Yep. Actually, the end of September, beginning of October for Scalable. So that'll be fun. We'll have to send videos back.
It'll be wonderful to see.
And you'll come home to a really clean house.
I will come home to a really clean house. I always do.
Yeah, because there's nobody here making a mess.
I swear she just sits in one chair and stays still for the whole time I'm gone.
I do not, but I'll tell you what, they're like, everything is a little different when you're not here. Like, the dogs are.
As we've said before, you look forward to missing me.
I do look forward to missing you.
Ron Perlow again.
Thank you, Ron. It's just quiet.
I love it.
It just tends to be a little quieter and a little bit more disciplined when you're not here.
Disciplined. I like that. So Deb was gone. I actually don't mind cooking. I just never find the time for it. In fact, we have chicken thighs in there we should cook tonight before they go bad. But I had the chicken thighs and I was going to do them. But then Wen was over Thursday night and Friday night. Thursday night, I think it just got to be so late. I had soup. They had something from the fridge. We had leftovers. Friday, I had to go get my hair cut.
It looks great, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you very much. But I ended up getting home till late because it was a late haircut.
Yeah.
So I didn't get home till late. And then who can cook chicken at 7:30, 8 o'clock?
I can.
That's insane. So we had to order, and we ordered,
What
I forget what.
I don't know, but whatever you ordered, it was gone. So you must have ordered something that, like,
We do Iron Hill, maybe? Yeah, I did the schnitzel, Iron Hill. We did Iron Hill Brewery. And then Sunday, you got home. No, Saturday night you got home. And that was late. So we had to order for you to be home. We had to have something waiting for you when you got. So I couldn't cook. But when I lived on my own, I will tell you exactly what I had. I had steaks and pork chops and hamburger. And I had boxes of minute rice. And I had squash. And I would consistently make one of the meats, fried or grilled, minute rice, and usually green and yellow squash sautéed in butter with onion.
So
every meal. I could eat every meal,
squash
like our homestead guy.
The squash is good.
Yeah.
I'm like totally down the squash. But when she talks about herself cooking, right? When I first met her, lunch for Pam was a small stack of saltine crackers with butter.
With butter?
So good.
Saltine with butter?
She would
So
just butter
good. You gotta
saltines.
try it. So good. You get to, and it's really kind of fun. You put a little butter in the middle. You turn the salt side to the outside, and then you smush them a little bit, and butter comes shooting up through the holes, like zips.
Oh, nice.
But
It's
that
so
was
fun.
her-
I'll show you one before you go today.
She won't cook.
I will cook. I will do hamburger
But
steak.
you know what? But you don't think to cook anymore. Like,
No.
honest to God, like, did you have lunch today?
I've been very busy.
Did you have lunch today?
I had a beer for lunch.
You wouldn't have breakfast
we were-
if I didn't come downstairs and say and pick up your
That's
coffee and say.
But if I didn't have breakfast,
"Can I
I didn't
make
have
you
lunch, I
breakfast,
would
honey?"
definitely cook pork chops and rice for dinner because I'd be hungry.
You just don't. You don't think about it, and especially
But I
on
want it
days,
when I'm
especially
hungry.
on days when you are like
Yeah.
in it, like there. seriously, it's nothing for me to see you in your like executive chair. I don't even know what I want to call it, your nest.
Yeah.
But you sit in that chair from the moment you wake up until like 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
I'd pee a
And
couple times.
maybe you get up to go to the bathroom.
Grab some crackers,
That's it.
soup. But I do love me some, like tonight, I'm really looking forward to it. Like we do that chicken, maybe do some flat noodles with butter and a green veggie. That'd be so good. But yeah, I love to cook. I just don't do it very often.
You just need to make time, Pam.
Yeah,
It's just
and it's really not a lot of time. I literally slap the things on the grill for 10 minutes. Minute rice is a
but you
minute.
have to make the time. Like you have to. You can't say I'm not hungry. I'm not hungry. I'm not hungry. And then like the apps come out. I'm sorry. I don't know about any of you, but when you're ordering on DoorDash or Grubhub or Uber Eats, like that meal, for one, is like 2 or 3 meals that you could get if you just cook for yourself. 2 or 3 meals.
Oh,
It's
price-wise, you mean?
expensive. It's expensive to do this constant ordering from the app.
It is.
Because it's not just that they charge you a lot, which they do, but then you're tipping, which you do at the restaurant anyway. But you're
Mhm.
tipping on top of tipping. It's just it's an insane proposition.
So I'll cook the chicken tonight, I promise.
You're gonna
Look what
cook
you
the-
started.
You're gonna cook the chicken.
Unless you do.
What did you want to do with the chicken?
I just want to get, I wanted to do the butter. I wanted to get crispy baked in the onion so it's
Just
got crispy
baked?
skin. Yeah. Salt, pepper, crispy skin, maybe some rosemary. Do we put on chicken?
Yeah, you can put
Yeah.
rosemary on chicken.
I don't know if we want rosemary on it. I don't know. Time.
Thyme is good on chicken.
But yeah, that would be good. And then just white noodles with butter and a veggie.
Okay.
That'd be perfect.
I'd love to see you actually do that.
I could do it if I didn't have meetings all the way up till.
Ah, and there's the truth. Oh, this is perfect. This is perfect, and this is what it. This is
But
what
you
turns
can
into-
do it today.
But
I'll
you
do it
can do-
tomorrow.
You can do
Tomorrow I
today
don't have
as
meetings.
if I don't do it almost
I
all the
don't-
days.
I don't have meetings late tomorrow. So I'll pull out steak and do steak tomorrow.
I don't.
I promise. Check in next week. We'll see.
We've got to
if this
reduce the red meat.
happened.
We have to reduce the red meat.
We're not reducing red meat. Wait, whoa, how did you go down that lane?
I've really been thinking.
Nobody
I've been
mentioned anything about reducing
thinking
red
long
meat.
and hard about reducing the
You
red meat.
think away.
We do need to do it.
Yeah,
We need to do it for our health. and
we are
we-
not reducing red meat.
Yeah.
We
I'm not talking
may
about
be.
cutting it out. Reducing the
Yeah,
red meat.
and then you're going to say we need more fish.
We do need to-
So buy yourself and cook some fish. Pork chop, steak. I will do what the Dr. K says deer meat's good. So I'll do deer or buffalo. That's good red
Yeah,
meat.
well, I'll get the
'Cause
bison.
it's so easy to
We
get
do. We
deer meat at the
yeah.
grocery store.
No, we do get bison, and I will
Ground
cook,
bison
I will
is
cook
good.
with ground bison. I'll
Bison.
make
But we
bison
are
burger,
not- I
bison
don't-
or chili
This
with bison.
no red meat thing, that's just not happening.
But you can't. It's really not great for you, Pam.
You know
How
what?
often are you eating red meat?
Twice a week?
Uh,
What do you mean, oh?
I was just saying, like that's.
I'd eat it 5 nights a week. The guy we watch on the Wilderness Channel. This man,
But,
first of all,
okay, but let's stop.
this guy's building a homestead in
Yes.
Canada
Wild
on 40
wi-
acres.
Wild homestead.
Wild homestead.
homestead. Look
Cool
it up.
guy,
It's
whatever.
great,
But
great.
here's how he eats. Twice a day. He gets a steak, he puts it on the grill, he eats the steak right off the grill. That's it. And every now and then he'll get a bag of frozen berries, or if it's
Berries
summer,
and cherries.
fresh berries.
Berries and cherries.
And he'll just guzzle a big old cup of berries.
What's
Berries
his,
and meat.
cholesterol levels
Who
like?
cares?
Well,
He's healthy as an ox.
So,
He
so
could
what
outsprint-
I will say, right? So the dude is really truly living it. He's living in the outback, right? He's in the wild.
He's doing everything from like cutting the
He's-
trees to build the
he's
cabins. Yeah.
Showering, he's
In the-
he's
in the
washing
ice-cold
in the
river.
in the middle
In
of the
November,
winter.
December,
Yeah,
January,
yeah.
in the ice.
So I'm sure that the number of calories that this dude is burning, the way this guy is burning up, is
I
probably
do the same
not
thing.
affecting him.
When I'm thinking in my chair, just as much
No.
energy burning as when he's building a log cabin,
No.
heaving up these massive
You have an
logs.
Apple Watch. You can track that.
I could track that if I charged it. I keep forgetting to put it on my charger. This is one of those things that happens with me. So it is staged now to go to my charger, but it hasn't made it to the charger yet. But it's staged with all of the letter sealing stuff to go upstairs. So the next time I go
Oh.
upstairs, I'll be able to get the watch
you
and put it
just-
on the charger.
If you just every day, at the end of the day, just put all of your little things away. I thought about carrying that thing up yesterday. Your
But you know I'm going to need it to after at my letters.
then I get in trouble.
That's right.
What did you do with that? Where did you put it? It's in your office. Where
Because you
it
sweep it away
belongs.
so fast. When I have plans for things.
You can't leave things out for days.
But I have plans for days.
You have plans for days. Knock yourself out. You don't need to leave your plans laying around for days.
It reminds you that you need to do it. Once it's
That's why
put
you have
away,
your
out of
to-do
sight,
list.
out of
That's why
mind.
you have your honey-do list. What? Hold on.
Did I go down a
Because
blind alley?
you- so badly. You
I feel
just.
like you keep opening these.
She
doors.
has. She's. They're just.
This is
too
not my
many.
best
There are
day on
too
She
many.
Said, She Said.
She will. Every day. Every day.
Is a holiday with
if you
me.
Sit, yes, it is, honey.
That's
At
all
the
you're going
end
to
of the
say.
night, she'll sit down and she starts working on her to-do list. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm going through my to-do list. She's like, right. All right, show me your to-do list. I actually cleaned up your notebook today, and I looked at your to-do list.
42 things.
It's like,
They all have to be done.
My to-do
Make
list
it
looks
43
like today,
things and just-
tomorrow, and this week.
yeah.
So like I categorize things by what I'm going to do today, what I'm going to do
I do
tomorrow,
too.
what I'm going to do this week.
With signs, like I have you'll notice there were some circle stars on the left. Those are
Yeah.
the today things. And then tomorrow things will just have a circle. And then this week or whenever things will have little arrows.
Yeah. It was ridiculous.
42 things.
You could have 43, just clean up all that stuff and remind yourself to put it back out.
I don't have time for that. You saw my list. It's got 42 things on it. All right, smartass. You started that.
I got some
Thank you,
people in trouble
Francis.
today. All right, we can wrap now.
So now, like, subscribe, add your comments, and please tell me whether you are Deb's side
Team
or
Deb.
Pam's side, because I think we should rename She Said, She Said. I'm right, she's wrong.
I'm right, she's wrong.
And y'all get to pick who the I and who the she is. So,
Yeah.
what do they call it on that old movie where it was the two different wolf and a thing? They had vampire movie. No, it wasn't a vampire.
Oh,
A team-
Jacob,
Team
Jacob
Jacob,
and
team-
team,
Twilight.
Twilight.
Team
That's it.
Jacob and Team
Jacob and Edward.
Team Edward.
Yeah.
So Team Deb or Team Pam?
Not Team Pam.
All right, you all have a great week. We will see you on the next.
She said, she said.